Good morning and happy Thursday, April the 30th. It's month end. And I was reminded this morning as I was thinking about month end, how I could encourage you the best this morning. And I was reminded of a story that Henry Cloud tells in his book called The Power of the Other. And it's all about the impact that you have, that I have, that we as leaders have to make a difference in people's lives. And you have a choice of whether that difference that you make is going to be positive or negative. And as I'm reminded about that, in the beginning of Henry Cloud's book, he tells a story about his brother-in-law, Mark, who was a Navy SEAL. But he ended up getting killed in action overseas. And when they came back and had a memorial, a funeral service for Mark, a bunch of his Navy SEAL brothers were telling stories about Mark and the impact that Mark made on their life. And one story in particular was of a Navy SEAL who was fairly close with Mark, and they were going through Hell Week, which is that deadly, treacherous challenge at the end of all of their Navy SEAL training that differentiates those that make it and those that don't. And they have to go through all kinds of exercises, and the final exercise is this open ocean swim, where they after being exhausted, going through things for an entire week, not getting much sleep, they've got to do this open ocean swim. And during that time, many guys can't make it. And when they can't make it, all they have to do is raise their hand and one of the boats will come along and save them. But it means too that they didn't succeed and they don't become a Navy SEAL. And during that swim, one of the guys recalls that he was partway through his swim. He doesn't even know how close he was or wasn't, but he was absolutely exhausted. And I think all of us come to those times and maybe even feel that way right now, that we get exhausted. And this guy was swimming along and he says, I had nothing left in my tank. And I realized that if I stopped, I wouldn't become a Navy SEAL, but I had nothing more to give. And I could just feel myself starting to sink in the water, and I was about ready to put my arm up. And just as I was thinking that, I looked across the ocean and Mark had already completed his swim. He was there on the beach and he could just see Mark. And right at that moment, when their eyes connected, Mark gave him a cheer and said, "You can do it." And it was amazing how that bit of encouragement allowed this buddy to conjure up just that extra little bit that he needed to get, and he didn't even know where it came from, but he was able to start swimming again and he made it to the beach. That's the power of the other. And that's the power that you have as a leader today to encourage your team, to give them the energy and the encouragement and the accolades and the recognition and whatever it is that they need to help them know that they can persevere through whatever it is, whether it's at work with lower volumes and still trying to do the best of it, whether they're working in isolation and they're feeling tired and disillusioned and lonely. You have the power as a leader to make a difference in people's lives. Use today as an opportunity to make a positive impact, and don't squander that. It's one of those few great things that we have available to us to make a difference. Have a great day.